Workplace toxicity. Two words that can change the trajectory of your mental health, career, and life. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt drained, unappreciated, or even disrespected at work? Then you're not alone. Today, we are diving deep into how to identify toxic behaviors at work, understand the pressures that employees encounter, deal with these challenges in a professional way. So, stick with me because the insights I'm sharing today could completely change how you navigate your career. Let's look at section one. What does a toxic environment look like? Well, toxic work environments aren't just stressful, they are actively harmful. Here is how you can pick signs of toxicity at work. Number one, chronic negativity. For example, gossip, backbiting, or constant complaints. Number two is micromanagement, wherein leaders who control every detail instead of empowering their employees. Number three is bullying or harassment. This is where you would observe intimidation, belittling comments, or public shaming. And number four is unrealistic expectations. This is where deadlines or workload that feels like impossible. And number five is disrespect or disregarding, wherein ignoring boundaries, personal space, or feedback. Section number two, kinds of pressure that employees encounter. Before we address toxic behaviors, let's first understand the different kinds of pressures that an employee goes through. Understanding them is very important as it helps us to see how it can impact a particular individual. Number one is performance pressure. This is where employees often face relentless expectations to meet deadlines, exceed targets, and constantly outperform. Research by Deloitte found that 77% of employees reported burnt out due to performance demands, especially when paired with inadequate support. Number two, social pressure. Well, toxic workplaces often force employees to conform to unspoken norms, such as staying late even when the work is done, or engaging in office politics to be the part of the office environment, as they see it as a survival strategy. In fact, a Gallup study found that 20% of employees feel excluded or ostracized, which can lead to isolation and low self esteem. Number three, financial pressure. Unrealistic goals tied to monetary incentives or fear of losing one's job can leave employees feeling trapped. Number four is emotional pressure. Toxic managers or co-workers can gaslight employees. Now let's understand, gaslighting is a form of psychological abuse or manipulation in which the abuser attempts to sow self-doubt and confusion in the victim's mind simply by distorting reality and forcing them to question their own competence and self worth. In this case, an emotional abuse can lead to guilt, anxiety, and even depression over a period of time. Number five is ethical pressure. In certain cases, it's observed that employees are asked to compromise their values or make decisions that they fundamentally don't agree with. A study by the Ethics Resource Center revealed that 41% of employees in toxic workplaces experience pressure to act unethically. All right, let's look at the different types of toxic behaviors. Type number one, the gossip spreader. The strategy here should be typically to confront in private, but in an assertive way. Well, you can say, I prefer to focus on solutions instead of problems. Or can we redirect our energy towards something positive? Well, research shows that 79% of employees believe addressing workplace gossip improves team trust. Type 2 is the micromanager. The strategy here is to build trust by over communication and to make sure you share your work plan and ask, what else would you like to see? Studies from the Journal of Organizational Behavior highlights that frequent updates reduce micromanagement by almost 36%. Let's look at the third type, which is the bully. Now, here the typical strategy would be to document every instance with time, date, and witnesses. When confronting, frame it as a request for better teamwork. Say something like, I feel belittled when an X situation happens. Or you could ask, how could we communicate better moving forward? In severe cases, you can even escalate to HR. And according to the Workplace Bullying Institute, 61% of bullying stops when HR intervenes. Type 4, unrealistic demands. Now, here the strategy typically should be to be assertive in your communication, to negotiate deadlines. Say something like, I can prioritize task A by the deadline, but task B may need an extension. How would you like me to proceed? Asking a question. Well, research has shown that leaders are 43% more likely to adjust deadlines when employees offer solutions, not just problems. Type 5, disrespectful behavior. Here, the approach should be to set boundaries in a professional way. Well, you could say, I am fully committed to the team's success, but I need us to agree on a mutual respect in communication. Section 4, practices to protect yourself in a toxic environment. Well, here's a question I often get asked. What do I do to safeguard my mental health and career when I'm working in a toxic environment? Let me share some simple and actionable practices that can help you not only to survive but to maintain your sanity and professionalism. Number one, document everything. And here's why. In toxic environments, verbal agreements or discussions are often twisted or even forgotten. So you must, and it's very important, keep detailed records of emails, meetings, and key interactions. If something inappropriate happens, note the date, time, and details. Number two, set boundaries. And let's understand why. Because toxic colleagues or managers often exploit those who don't push back. You can politely or be a little firm in saying no to unreasonable demands. For example, I'd love to help with this, but I can't take it on without shifting other priorities. Number three, build a support network. Well, this one is a bit tricky and you need to tread more carefully here. Ideally, I would say that you cannot blindly trust anyone in a toxic environment as everyone is looking out for themselves. Well, however, only if you have a personal connect with a trusted colleague or mentor who can offer advice or support, or even just a listening ear that can definitely act as a support. But it's always better to seek the support outside of your direct work environment. Number four is focus on what you can control. Toxic environments can make you feel powerless. So you must direct your energy towards tasks, skills, or outcomes that are within your influence. And it's absolutely important to be good at your own work, your own job, as this will help you to keep any unnecessary or undesired attention or an opportunity for others to pounce on you. Number five, seek opportunities for growth outside the job. No matter how stuck or frustrated you feel with your current situation, you must remember that there is life outside of your existing work environment. And focusing on your personal growth will help you create more options to move out. And here's how: invest time in learning new skills, networking on platforms like LinkedIn, or by preparing for interview. Point number six is to plan your exit strategy. If toxicity is unbearable, staying long term can be harmful for your health. Update your resume, start discreetly looking out for roles, and ensure you leave on professional terms. And I would recommend to keep it discreet. Friends, you must understand these practices aren't just survival tactics. They are tools to help you thrive no matter the environment you are in. Toxicity doesn't stay confined to the workplace. It seeps into your health, your relationships, and your ability to trust others in future. In the most heartbreaking cases, the relentless pressure has pushed some employees to tragic extremes, costing them their lives. Share this video with someone who might be struggling in their workplace. Let's normalize the conversation around toxic work environments and build healthier workplaces together. If you're navigating toxicity, comment below with your experience or questions. Remember, you're not alone and help is available. And if you're ready to take your personal and professional growth to the next level, subscribe to this channel today. Here, we tackle real career aspects and actionable solutions every single week.